Howdy, howdy, fellow movie fans, and welcome back for another edition of the Wisco Movie Watchers podcast, brought to you by PTE Creative. As always, we're your hosts, Evan and Dylan Davies. Dylan, what are we covering on today's show?
We got another anniversary.
2000s,
How Grinch Stole Christmas.
So we're finally going to cover a Christmas movie I actually believe in, because I don't believe in Christmas and the Christmas spirit. But what are you going to do?
I do have a note on that later. So.
Where do you want to start with this film?
Real quick, we'll just cover the numbers real quick.
Alrighty.
251 million domestic.
Holy shit.
And then the worldwide is only 347 million total. So that's a good chunk of it is all domestic, which you don't see that very often.
That's pretty wild, honestly.
Yeah. And then rounding out the other ones, we got Mission Impossible 2, Gladiator, Perfect Storm, and Meet the Parents.
Hey, I mean, it works wild. That's a nice varied year of film. And
well, what I was gonna say, like, that's the whole reason I started this project of looking at box office, because that's the type of year I wish we had every year, where it's not 100% driven by sequels and IP.
Yeah.
Like, that's a good blend.
Yeah, it's a fine blend, and it's where, unfortunately, we are 25 years removed from that, and now it's sequel franchise builders and things of that nature.
I mean, I guess technically the Grinch is technically IP, but I wouldn't really consider it that in terms of...
It's fringe IP. I think it's very different when someone makes a children's book or adapts a single book.
Yeah.
Than when they adapt a book series, where, like, I would say Harry Potter is a franchise. It's a series of books. But if someone goes ahead and makes, I don't know, something like How the Grinch Stole Christmas, or you take a singular book, I guess, name one. The Color Purple could be one. Other things. Yes, it has IP backing it, technically, because you want to see an adaptation. Gone Girl. Great example. Good book. It wants to be adapted into a movie. They want to adapt it in the movie. That's great. But at the same time, they're not looking to delve further into the world of Gone Girl when they do it.
Yes.
And Dr. Seuss, every book is very different. So you're not going to get this whole, oh, wow, this is what we're going to do, right? So, interesting numbers there. What's the number one movie from 2000? Is it Gladiator? In terms of box office?
Well, in terms of box office, it's The Grinch.
It is? I didn't even know that.
From 2000, yes.
Internet.
That's why we're doing this.
I thought it was just anniversary episode. That's all I was doing.
Oh,
okay.
No.
I didn't know we were doing big box office today. Okay.
No,
Makes it easy on us.
This is both.
All right, cool. All righty, well, shows how much production notes I did for this show. All right. Another little side note. My favorite movie from the third grade is How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Actually, it's right here on the desk. So, this is a picture of all the neighborhood kids together.
Yes.
But on the back is my third grade card where our teacher put our school pictures, and that crazy looking green guy, I'm sorry for the reflection, is my rendition of the Grinch from the third grade.
Looks more like a vegetable.
Yes, it very much looks like a vegetable. But if you couldn't tell, this is a third grader's rendition of the Grinch.
It looks like something out of VeggieTales.
So it's nice. I always have the memory of us, right on the desk with me. But then I also have.
Hey, by chance, what T-shirt am I wearing?
You are wearing Antonio Freeman in the background, because I don't think you had a driver jersey at the time. I'm assuming. And we should be showing this, or we should be saying this during the auto recording as well, that we are streaming for the first time ever as we're recording this. So we have a chat section going, and one of my lovely friends and my moderator here for the chat is already saying that we should get some new emote ideas for Twitch, which is something Dylan has zero idea what that is, but it's just fun.
I was going to say, literally zero idea.
But it's something that you can throw into a chat, emote some ideas for, and so maybe we put third grade Evan's Grinch drawings as an emote in the
There you
Discord
go.
chat and have some fun. But that is where we might go with that. But yeah, I adore this movie. Dylan and I also might record a third show today where we are doing a post-mortem on our top 100 series that we did over the past year. That was our big project for the full year, beyond our action scene tournament. And How the Grinch Stole Christmas, I think, was an omission of mine after rewatching it. So that should tell you how I'm thinking about this movie as we
I,
go in.
would you say this is your favorite Christmas movie?
Outside of Nightmare Before Christmas and
Oh,
Batman.
okay.
And
Of
I
course.
also, Batman Returns is also a Christmas movie. So,
I see that. It's like wintry, so I get it.
well, it's right at Christmas time. So, I mean, and half the crimes are around a goddamn Christmas tree. So,
Oh, see, it's been a while since I've seen it.
oh, it's glorious. I can't wait till '92's big box office episode. It's going to be a
Hmm.
grand old time for your boy. But in terms of a pure Christmas movie where no one can dispute it as a Christmas movie, like it's
Yeah.
as much as I love Nightmare, there are some people like that's not a Christmas movie. And I'm like, fine, I don't really care because I consider it both a Halloween and a Christmas movie, which is why I watch it Halloween night almost every year to transition into the new season. And Batman Returns is obviously my stretch at hating Christmas movies and trying to find something I like for Christmas. Much like Die Hard is a true Christmas movie. But this is my favorite pure Christmas movie that just brings me a lot of joy, and I understand why people like Christmas movies because of this movie.
Hmm.
I'll start right off the bat. Such a phenomenal touch to get Anthony Hopkins to be the narrator of this film as if he's reading the actual
Yeah.
book. What a great voice to have, and also hilarious that we talked about Silence of the Lambs a couple weeks ago for a bunch of Halloween based things and other stuff, and then we're getting Hannibal Lecter in warm grandpa mode narrating the Grinch is hilarious.
Yeah, one of the things I forgot about his narration is like how much it actually is featured throughout the entire thing. For some reason, I always remembered it as like the very beginning and the very end.
Yeah.
But it's actually like 100% throughout the movie.
I knew it was peppered in the movie, but I didn't realize how peppered it was, and it's a great.
Yeah.
I think what's wonderful about the construction of this film is you are taking a children's book that is this thick with
Mhm.
more picture than font. Let's be honest here. And the reason it's most popular is from a 42-minute holiday special or 44-minute, whatever it is. It's in the low 40s in terms of a television special, and then you have to flesh it out and make the Grinch this otherworldly force of a character. You have to flesh out Cindy Lou, and you have to make all of Whoville all your own except for some drawings. And the fact that they have that narration peppered through is so smart because it gives this cohesive glue to it that a lot of people wouldn't necessarily think of to go with.
Yeah. I That's like the main thing about this movie is the look of it.
Oh
Like
God, it's beautiful.
it's beautiful. Yeah, it was nominated for art direction. It won makeup. I know that for a fact.
A better win makeup for half the torture that they had to go through to do this shit.
Yeah.
We'll
And
talk
then,
about that in a second.
I think the only other thing it was nominated for was costume design.
Who won art direction that year? That's something I want to know. What beats
Off the
Whoville?
top, off the top of my head, I would it's either Gladiator or Crouching Tiger. That's almost like a guarantee. One of those two won.
Yeah, that's where sometimes it's really tough because I understand. We've talked about this in our Oscars episodes. There's a whole playlist of 25 years of Oscar history that we've talked about where what they get right, what they get wrong. And one thing that always struck me, especially from these older films that actually do make all these big physical sets and they have to do all these things and it's not just CGI based is when historical stuff wins over that. I do not want to take away from the detail of those films. I'm not shitting on Crouching Tiger or Gladiator or anything like that. But when you have to make a complete Fantasyland feel tangible and real to the point where a kid can go out and touch it and know it's real, to me that is a far greater achievement to make something that fantastic and whimsical something
I
real
would
as
agree.
opposed to a historical drama.
Mhm.
Which both of those films, I understand they have fantasy elements and traditional adventure elements as well, but they're based in reality.
Yeah.
It's and
Yeah,
that's the
I
thing
think
I always
that's
go to.
something that kind of over gets looked at the Oscars, unfortunately. Is
Yeah.
like there is a tendency to downplay genre, but what are you gonna do? It's a bunch of old ass white people.
Well, at the time, certainly it was. Now it's
Yeah.
gotten better, but it's still not.
Yeah.
It's ironic as the voting base got better for it. The quality of art direction, in terms of tangible, real feel, went down for
Well,
genre film.
that just is that's like the running thing that kept running through my mind. The whole movie was like, if this was made today, it would be so ugly. Like, I'm just not a fan of like, I understand like set extension
Yeah.
using green screen and blue screen for that. That I perfectly agree with. But when you're making an entire set, like, I'm sorry, I just don't. It doesn't feel real to me.
Well, it's different when you can do stuff like what's most famous for now is stuff like The Mandalorian, where
Yeah.
they might make a tiny little set because they need physical objects to sit on or something like
Hmm.
that, or they might make a wall or two and then the rest is blue screened. And I understand it. They're technically on a television budget, which is hilarious for a Star Wars project because that's not a thing really.
Yeah.
But those you don't expect to see reality in a Star Wars film, and that's the shame of it. Is the original trilogy everything was built, so it felt tangible, like you could reach out and touch it. Whereas
Hmm.
the prequel trilogies, when they went all super green and blue screen, excuse me, and that's where it stops feeling real. And you're spot on. If the Grinch is made today, we're getting maybe little. I think of the Grinch's lair, right?
Hmm.
That set is 100 times worse if it's built today because they might make his chair and they might make the elevator lift because they know they got to lift him on that
Hmm.
and everything else, and they might do the flooring, but other than that, it's all CGI around him.
Yeah, and like I'm not trying to shit on CG. Like the artists are very talented,
Yeah,
but there's a one of the things I always think about, and I hear a lot from visual effects artists, is like there's a chance to create zero imperfections while when you're making CG. Like there's no happy accidents.
yeah,
Everything's planned out, and that's one of the nice things about practical stuff is like you can tell it's not 100% perfect.
right.
The lighting is going to be way more interactive if you're just creating a set.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why we still get moved when occasionally we see physical stuff. Or
Yeah.
even as, it's not what everyone says it is, but we talked about this with Mad Max Fury Road. There's a ton of that is CG, but a ton of that is actually real trucks moving down in the desert. There's a ton of real shit built for it. So it feels like it's been hardlined from reality coming at you on the screen. And even if there's CG complements around it, and a lot of it, more of it is CG than we believe it is, or we've been led to believe that it is,
Hmm.
or the Christopher Nolan route where he likes to almost downplay how much CG is in his films,
100%.
there are still so many real elements that you have to go, God damn, that looks good. Because a third of it, a half of it, two-thirds of it, sometimes as much as 90% of that shot is physically there. And someone is
Yeah.
on the ground walking it and really doing something with it.
Yeah. And the other thing is like the Grinch's suit with all the like the real, I think it's yak hair I read somewhere.
Right.
Um like that would be another CG thing nowadays. Like you wouldn't get like all those weird looking almost ugly clumps of
Yes.
hair that you get with it. Like that he would probably be in a mocap suit most likely,
And
which for the actor would have been a lot better.
yeah, so let's go into that here. I've now read reports because there's more stories right now than ever because this film just came back to theaters for a special engagement because it's the 25th anniversary of the show, and it is now getting that classic anniversary coverage that the internet tends to do, and a lot of people are saying that Jim Carrey's honesty about what happens on set for him here ruins the movie for them. It does not for me. I have major sympathy for whoever's going through that, and I'll tell you the details on that. But it's the labor that was put into a lot of these genre films back in the day. Where same thing we talked about Batman Returns. Danny DeVito had to go do a ton of shit for the Penguin. Jack Nicholson had to do tons for the original Batman in just terms of the prosthetics on his face. And it's one of those in which there are other great examples of that. I think Elephant Man and other stuff where they had to
Yeah,
go to
even
painstaking lengths to do those things.
yeah, even like Mystique
Oh
in
yeah,
the X-Men franchise, where Jennifer Lawrence literally by the end of it just refused to do the makeup part. She just wanted 100% CG
yeah,
because I mean it is kind of torturous to sit in a chair and do nothing for that long.
right,
But at the same time, like you said, we'll get into it, but like that's no excuse to make everything harder on everyone else around you.
right. So, and Jim Carrey didn't inherently do that to everyone on set. There are some reports of he wasn't the most pleasant person to do it, but
I read quite a bit about that.
okay, so you can give more on that detail. But Jim Carrey went through at least keywords at least 8 hours of makeup and costuming every morning to
Well,
shoot this movie.
apparently by the end of it, they got it down to 2 hours in the morning and 1 hour to take it all off. So, but at the start, it was like almost half a day of work.
Right. And that's part of the process of costuming and getting to know those things. But it also shows the authenticity of what it is, to where it was such a traumatic, claustrophobic experience
Hmm.
for him that he wanted to quit and didn't. And Ron Howard talked him into staying on the production, to the point where they brought a CIA torture expert to
Hmm.
come in and teach him methods to deal with torture, in which he could then get through the costuming portions,
Yeah.
where he's chain smoking all like the whole time, because that is something that soothes the mind as you're doing it. Other various elements of movement that can be done during that time. It's hilarious because like we think of it and it's like can we get the guy like a fucking video game console or something so he has something to do during this time.
That would have been a good compromise.
Yeah, like just can we get him something here? But tough sitch. Tough
Yeah, I
sitch.
mean, I do really feel for Jim Carrey, but like I said, I read quite a bit about the main makeup artist. Can't remember his name. I think he's Japanese or Chinese, one of the two. And he was saying it literally became the worst project of his career because Jim Carrey was making it so difficult for everyone.
Go into that a little bit if you could, if there's more
Well,
details on it.
apparently it was just him being a huge dick about everything and like constantly complaining, making it harder, which only makes it longer in the process. So it's like kind of going against
Counterproductive.
the, yeah, counterproductive completely. Like you're making it harder on everyone, which is also making it harder on yourself. Like,
Yes.
but apparently he was a pretty big dick to the makeup department.
Yeah.
Then I also go, okay, even 3 hours of makeup every day. Yeah, I would be tired, especially if you're having, a 10-hour shoot day.
Yeah.
Like, that's a lot of your time.
And that's the thing. You're working with a director in Ron Howard. give, give Jim Carrey a GBC. Exactly. We should have gave Jim Carrey a Game Boy Color with Pokemon Crystal, so he could at least done something.
Yeah. Or a book,
Or
even.
just a book, something. Just give him something, you know. But that was from our Twitch chat here. So it's tough because you just look at it, and his career, I don't want to say it dovetails because that gives such a negative connotation, but his career disappears for a while, not in a negative manner, but he very much stops working
Yeah.
that star schedule that he was on. And granted, in 94 and 95, he was working nonstop. Like, he did not
Yeah.
stop working. He was slowing towards the end of the 90s and into the early 2000s. But after The Grinch, it does feel like, I don't want to be here as much. I don't want to do as
Yeah,
much.
maybe a little disillusionment with the system.
I mean, it's fair if that's what happens.
And I mean, like, even comparing then to now, how little he works.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he doesn't really star in much anymore.
No, that's the thing, is I remember he was even saying for one of the Sonics, he's like, I'm done. He's like, I'm not saying never. He made it very clear. He's like, I'm not saying never, but if this is the last one I do, I'm okay with that. That's fine. And he made it clear that, hey, if there's a part that comes around and someone wants me and it feels like something I can do and it's fun and enjoyable, I'll do that. But
I wish he would kind of follow in the footsteps of Robin Williams a little bit more, where he like 100% at the beginning of his career, 100% comedies. Like that's all he's doing. But then eventually switching into the more dramatic roles and stuff,
sure.
which Jim Carrey does, but he doesn't do it often anymore. And I feel like that's the stuff that probably would interest him more nowadays.
Well, I think it's a natural part of aging. I look at, when you're young, you want to be part of flash and pizzazz and look at the films as children, teens, and young adults that dominate markets, that dominate conversation and shared time. It's franchise films, it's fantasy, it's big action, it's all these things. Even go to the theater. I highly recommend this for someone listening. Go to the theater even this December, because this is coming out right before it comes out. Go see something like, I don't know, Hamnet, which is about the introduction of William Shakespeare into the world.
Pumped for it.
And then also go to Avatar, Fire and Ash. And you tell me the difference in those audiences. And I can guarantee you, Fire and Ash is going to be a lot of 30s down. We're going to see these big, fantastic action scenes and all this crazy CGI and all this other stuff. And Hamnet, I guarantee you, is going to be a couple arty young people and an older audience if it's a full theater.
Yeah. Well, it reminds me of when I saw Hacksaw Ridge, and I was probably the only person younger than 50 in the theater. It was really funny.
I mean, that's how it goes, though. And as we age, we want to find something that's really interesting and powerful. I mean, there's so many films that even made our top 100 lists or anything else that 5, 10, 15 years ago, we wouldn't have even entertained. And we love them to death now. But we wouldn't have even entertained them at one time in our lives because they just didn't speak to us in that way. And it's the same thing for people working in Hollywood. They want to go do something real. Not knowing that something real actually can be genre film and fantastic if they don't generally do those things, because it can bring this whole another element to their life. I look at, obviously it's one of the greatest of all time, but Lord of the Rings, it's not as if there's no substance there. But yes, it's set in this
Hmm.
fantastic world, and that's insane. But it is tough to think that you have people like a Jim Carrey, who is such, if not the one of the greatest physical comedians to ever grace a movie screen, and the last stuff you see him in is Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
Hmm.
You know, it's like, man, come on. Yeah, just to finish that Jim Carrey thought, is he certainly one of those people you wish worked a lot more?
Yes, and I wish he would do more stuff in the vein of like Truman Show again,
Sure.
where it's like he can fully be comedic, but there's still a lot of good dramatic stuff in there as well.
Sure.
That's what I wish he would do more of, but maybe that just doesn't interest him. I don't know.
A project that I think of, like a vein of this, that I think could be fun, is him getting to play something like the Paul Giamatti character from The Holdovers. I think that'd be a really
Oh,
fun project
sure.
for him, where there is some over the top comedy, but he's not inherently the one that has to do all the big stuff anymore.
Hmm.
Because he is somebody who does bring a natural warmth to the screen. He's just a likable person on screen.
Hmm.
And that's the one thing with Paul Giamatti's character. You know deep down you like the guy, even when he's being a curmudgeonal fuck. So that's where I would like to see
Yeah,
more of that in the Jim Carrey role. But he's too busy, I guess, just being Jim Carrey. So,
yeah. He seems a lot like Robin Williams, where like even though he's comedic, there's a very tangible darkness inside him,
yes.
which is often the case with comedians for some reason.
I
But
mean, I mean, it's what attracts people because it's what you are projecting. Sometimes it starts as defense mechanisms and all these other things, and really, it's inside. It's the escape from what's inside. But that's, I don't know his full psychology, so I don't want to comment on his
I've
mental
just
health or
seen
anything.
like yeah more modern interviews with him. Yeah, it definitely is apparent.
Yes, he looks a little detached almost from life at times,
Yeah,
he's detached from himself almost, and you're like, that's choice. It's a choice you can make. I'm not, but damn.
I only took like 10 notes total during this,
Yeah, I didn't take many notes either.
and like five of them were just writing down quotes that I love.
Go for the quotes then.
But my first note is just this is a tour de force from Jim Carrey. I was like, this movie, 100%, he's carrying this movie on his
Oh
shoulders.
yeah, of course he
It's
is.
like, it's kind of crazy because, like, when you think about the characters itself, you have Jim Carrey who's carrying at least 50%,
If not
Cindy
more.
Lou, and then arguably the third main character is a dog.
Not even argue it. I would argue Max is actually the second character and Cindy Lou is the third. Like that's how much lifting that dog has to do.
Yeah, so I wrote down it was six rescue dogs that
Oh,
played
wonderful.
Max, um, and they all got adopted after the work. But I was like, hey, I need to shout out these dogs. They're great.
Absolutely, they were wonderful doing all that stuff. And again, tangible. There was a dog on set, and it was doing all these different things,
Hmm.
and you could feel that it was an actual dog doing things.
I do understand, like, there's a big push lately in Hollywood to not use, um, like, really small kids on
Sure.
set anymore and animals, which I do understand. Like, eh, like I see the point of view of not wanting to do it, but I do appreciate like there are great dog actors in cinema history. Like it's just true, there are.
Would you put the six rescue dogs from the Grinch in there as
Now I
great
would,
actors?
yeah.
Yeah. I I will say, I just found this film, oddly, is one of those films that you don't expect great performance, you don't expect high quality from. Just because you go, it's a children's book, and it's this and it's that. And it's another perfect example of do not underestimate things. One, you're getting sure, it's coded in being bombastic and incredibly silly, but you're getting a great acting performance.
Mhm.
And then introducing a child in Taylor Momsen, who actually does a phenomenal job as Cindy Lou Who, brings this real warmth to the film.
Yeah, she's great. Not a great singer at the time.
Yeah, we could
And that's
have worked on that, but it's
that's
fine.
one of the things that I wrote down is I actually love that fact. Like
Yes.
in a movie nowadays, you would not have that.
No.
It would have to be a perfect track. Like they would definitely either auto tune or just replace her singing with someone else. But like I kind of love that she's not a great singer.
It's a kid just being a kid. And that's
Yeah.
the point. That's the I so yeah, Where Are You Christmas sung by her. Ashley thought it was quite cute and that's fun. But I think that's the point is I think it is cute when she sings. But is it the greatest rendition? No, but that's what I agree with you because I think it brings this tangibility to it. She becomes a real kid. I remember I've talked about this before. The Orange Years. It's a great documentary about the foundation of the early days of Nickelodeon. And one of the things they really honed in on is before Nickelodeon became the Nickelodeon that we know, the head of Nickelodeon said we had all these characters and all these kids doing all these fantastic things. And at first you're like, oh, that's great, this kid can do this and can do that. But it made the average kid feel stupid because they couldn't do those things. And I always look back at that because when you look at the Nickelodeon characters that people really connect with, sure, they could have been over the top cool or whatever, but they were highly flawed. And I think that principle fits perfectly here with her singing. Because if she had the voice of an angel at the time,
Mm-hmm.
I would kind of be a little, not distraught about it, but I would be like, oh, wow, it's just she does a great job. Move on. But it doesn't bring this wonderful tangibility to this project that needs tangibility by her just being a kid singing.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's wonderful to have that.
And then the other note was just about like this with Shrek. I think are the two perfect examples of like it's half made for kids and half made for adults. Because like the quotes I wrote down were like wallow in self pity, stare into the abyss,
Yep.
wrestle with my self loathing. Like
Yep.
those are not jokes for kids.
Those are not jokes for kids at all.
As
Dinner,
a kid, I
dinner with
wouldn't
myself.
have
I
even-
can't cancel that again.
Yeah, like those. As a kid, I wouldn't even understand what those things meant.
It is insane how many lines I repeated as a kid because I thought the delivery was funny, but I didn't know what they actually meant.
Uh-huh.
And now, what I know what they are, I laugh harder because I understand them.
Mm-hmm.
And what's funny is I didn't realize how much I identified with the Grinch as a kid. I knew I identified with him. But I got emotional watching this film again with even lines like that because I was like, wow, I've really identified with this character for 30 years now.
Yeah, and like I watch comedies quite a bit. It's not like my favorite genre, but I never laugh out loud at anything.
Right.
Like I can't even remember the last time except this movie. Because I actually had one laugh out loud moment where he pulls the sheet off the table. He does it perfectly, and then a second later he comes back and knocks everything off.
Yes.
I was like, "That's genius! I loved it."
Well, I do love the idea. I don't think that'd be a happy accident, but that'd be hilarious if it was a happy accident. Where he's like, "Okay, we want you to just take everything off,"
Yeah,
and it just sticks, and he's like, "Damn it!" and just takes it all off.
I was also wondering that. It was like, was that improv or was that intentional?
But I think that's where movie magic happens sometimes, and
Yeah.
I think that's fun. Like we talked about, happy accidents and things of that nature. But I adore that moment. My favorite one that I wrote down is actually from Augustus, the mayor, which is generously provided by the taxpayers of Whoville, when he's trying to like be game show host for Martha and be like, if
Mm.
you marry me, you also get a new car, generously paid for by the
Oh,
taxpayers of Whoville. It's
that's that's
tremendous. It's
that's another joke that only worked for adults.
yeah,
Like, and I wrote down another one, which was when he's spying on Santa, and then he says probably lives up there to avoid the taxes.
exactly.
It's like those jokes don't work for kids.
No, because but half the time they're coded with kid-friendly stuff that a kid will find. Because the start of that Santa one is fat boy getting done with his
Yep.
stuff, and it's hilarious knowing that it's Jim Carrey in there because it's the same tone he has as the Riddler in Batman Forever, and you're like, oh, Jim Carrey's still in there, got it. But that's the kid-coded part of the joke. Probably, but then it's the snickering at the end. Probably lives up there to avoid the taxes. It's just a tremendous, great line. Or I remember even early on with when he's fucking with everybody's mail, and he's just like jury duty, blackmail, alimony. Like he's throwing in all these things where a kid doesn't know. A kid might know what blackmail is, but a kid doesn't know what jury duty is and why anytime an adult gets a letter saying they've been called in for jury duty, it fucking sucks.
Yeah, luckily I have not.
I've been called in for jury duty and I got selected because I was honest, even though everyone told me not to be. Because unfortunately, with my character, I'm kind of perfect to be a juror, unless it's something that's very close to my heart because I'm inherently a very fair person by all extents and purposes.
Yeah.
And I got called up, and they're like, "All right, was that's where it was." And then, thankfully, we walked into the courtroom and it got dismissed right away. But I was like, I had enough time; I could have made it to work, and I was like, I already got the day off. I'm going home. Fuck this. Like,
Yeah.
but god damn, yeah, it's pain in the ass. But I love those scenes. I love all that kind of stuff, and I love the extra layer of adulting and the negative part of adulting here, where, for instance, when he saves Cindy Lou from the mail sorter, and she's being 100% honest, thanks for saving me. He knows deep down he saved her.
Mm-hmm.
But for his own ego, he's like, saving you? You thought I was saving you? No. And then immediately has to redo it because he has to keep the image up that he's unapproachable and he hates everything. And I just love those character portrayals and those quotes
Also,
to help.
I need to mention, just because it's me, what kind of general store has P.O. boxes? That would never happen.
The postal worker, and he was like, this is bullshit.
Yeah. I was just like, what? This is a general store. This isn't a post office.
Well, that one, they're in a post office.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was in the, like,
In the general
place where
store. No.
where they're buying all the gifts.
No, that's why Lou has all of his stuff off, and he doesn't have the hat or anything anymore.
Okay, I missed that then. I must have been writing.
Do you immediately identify with Lou because he's a postal worker?
I mean, I definitely like him more. He knows the struggle.
He knows the struggle of being a Whoville, being a Who national government employee.
Yeah. Because I don't really empathize with the people who live in, like, California or Florida, where they don't have to deal with the snow. Lou does.
I will say you've been a postal carrier in Wisconsin through some snow, my friend.
Oh yeah.
Were you ever a postal carrier in New Hampshire, or did you transition to?
Yeah, I was a clerk in New Hampshire, but in Park Falls, Wisconsin, which, if anyone doesn't know, it's a super small town. That's like an hour south of the Canadian border in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So yeah, it sucks.
Because you're a rural carrier, and that was when you used to put in all the dog treats in your bag too for the dogs that would come up and be friends with them. Hell yeah,
That's one of the best parts.
you're that guy. Now, I just want to cover some very, again, adult themes here. This film is oddly progressive, and I don't think it's trying to be. I think that was one of the beauties of early 2000s film, was it was progressive because it just existed as such. It wasn't trying to send a message, where I know for a fact if they did the exact same thing and released it in 2025, we'd have to have the rage bait episodes of Fox News and shit. By the way, we got to talk about something Fox News is doing right now. But the Grinch has two mothers. They may or may not be together. We don't know.
Mm.
But we confirm they're swingers because they're hosting a key party. And we all can see it. And we all know it.
Sure, I didn't even think about that. Yes.
So inherently, you have a potentially lesbian couple raising a child that is another race in Whoville, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
as an adopted kid. So immediately, that's super progressive. And then you have a small female child as your main protagonist. Super progressive here in what they're doing.
You did mention that you don't think it has a message really, but one of the things I wrote down is this is proof that messages don't work in movies. Like the end where it's like, oh, we don't need presents. All we need is family and loved ones. And Christmas from 2000 has only become more commercialized.
Yes.
Where it's like, yeah, we ignored that message.
Where you're inundated with Walmart and Target commercials nonstop.
Yeah.
And then Amazon commercials everywhere you go, and it is.
And now there's Grinch meals at McDonald's.
Yeah, just it's like, what the fuck are we doing, guys? What are we doing here?
I did laugh at that.
Well, it's hilarious to see when you're doing stuff like that, but yeah, oddly very progressive film. In that, I do appreciate. Another way it's progressive is I really love the entire Whobilation section of the film. Because, and I figured you might really enjoy this, it's really great messaging on the wrong way and the right way on how to meet people where they are and respect their boundaries.
I don't know about the respecting the boundaries part.
No, I'm saying they're not doing it, and it's a great message to be like, dude, don't do this. Because when his moms attack him and put a sweater on.
Well, I was laughing when it's just like the shoving pudding in his mouth, shoving fruitcake in his mouth.
That is the obvious physical comedy aspects of it, but I thought of the I don't want to be an event. Well, everyone says you should be at the event. Well, I don't want to be there. Putting on, you have to wear a certain thing because otherwise you're not valid here right now unless you wear a certain thing. The cheer. What's the cheer? Like those things where he's like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be a part of any of this. And it's funny because it shows both the positives and the negative of it, where you have, hey, maybe if we include this person more, maybe do it, we might bring a little bit more fun out of them, and they'll really feel welcome. But there's also we're forcing our own practices, beliefs, even socially on this person, and this person's doesn't want that, isn't ready for that. It hurts their feelings. As someone who both feels it and certainly observes it at our holidays, from somebody else that might be in this show right now, it is certainly something in which that hit me, because I was like, oh wow, I may have seen my younger brother as the Grinch in those moments.
Yeah, I feel deeply with that.
Yeah, and that's where another way that oddly kind of progressive, in that they're like, stop making him do this shit. And that's not what they're trying to achieve, but that's an underlying message that can be seen in it. Where it's like, just stop. You're trying to change him, and he's actually right in these moments to not do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's another way that why he's such a sympathetic character is when the whole thing comes down to presence, and they go through his trauma to beat down his ego some more with the shaver, and then Augustus is trying to butter Martha May up with gifts and shit, and he's like, and he just straight up tells all of Whoville, "You're all fucking stupid for this." I love that because he's right.
Yeah,
He's
I wrote
right.
down. I wrote down the Grinch, the eco warrior.
Hell yeah.
When he's talking about, hey, all your gifts just end up in the landfill.
Yeah. And we love it. Also, Lupin is perfectly posed in the background, and it's great. Making a good appearance here. Good boy. Good boy.
Not barking for once.
Yeah, for once. Yeah, I really enjoy a lot of these notes here that the Grinch gives us. I think so tangibly real, so fun to see everything come to life and pop, but be tangible. Give these little moments to characters so you care about them, but really this is also great filmmaking notes and tools to learn is make sure the side characters have something interesting about them that make you care, but focus on your mains, focus on things you go. Any other closing notes you really wanted to see at this one?
I only had one more note to cover, and it's something I gripe with a lot in movies.
Sure.
Why does movie snow always look like shit?
I think snow is inherently hard.
But like, I mean, I guess if you're building a set like on the Universal backlot, which this is,
Yeah.
I guess it's hard. But it's just like, guys, we do something better. It always just looks like it never clumps together like real snow. It's always like very, very.
Well, I mean, inherently, that's the issue. Is you're building a lot, you're building a set, you have crew, you can't. What's hilarious is when they make these super chilled sets, it's just people usually bitching. Because,
True.
I remember the Penguin sets for Batman Returns, people were like, oh, those blast chillers, man. Or the Mr. Freeze sets.
Did they use real snow in Batman Returns?
I don't think they used real snow because I think they shot that in summer in Los Angeles. But the Penguin layer, they had to chill for the penguins, so they had to actually really cool that set down. That was a massive set too, so it was like an ice box. And then the Mr. Freeze set is just super chilled a lot of the time. So it is certainly it's just difficult to shoot snow, which is why the best way to do it is to actually go outside. The problem with snow is then your lighting is a nightmare.
I feel like like professionals should be able to deal with it, but
yes, but I remember that's certainly something they talked about.
That.
That's what they talked about a lot in the production for Empire Strikes Back was never shoot on snow because it's so hard with the lighting. And then naturally George Lucas is like, "No, I want a whole battle in snow. I want a whole first opening act in snow." And everyone's like, "Fuck."
I'm more thinking of like the movies that use real snow. Like the one that comes to mind immediately is Fargo.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, it adds so much more.
Well, even Dumb and Dumber, when they're on location,
yeah,
it does bring a lot of reality to the project. And
yeah, when Jeff Daniels hits her in the face with the snowball.
Yes.
Like that adds to it.
Yeah. But it's also something in which, I'm out in the snow every day. You're out in the snow every day during these months, in which, I
get shoveled for 2 hours before this.
Why don't you have a snowblower, dude?
Well, I do, but it runs out of battery.
Okay.
I don't have a gas one.
We got to figure that out one for you. But, well, also why you're trying to downsize in the future, but that's a different story whatsoever.
Yeah.
That'll be a different topic for a show in the future of when you're ready for that. But yeah, I mean, I'm out here. I'm trying to build snow hills out of tires and snow for these kids to go sledding on this little bunny hill that we have in the backyard. And by bunny hill, I mean it's like maybe mid between my knee and my hip high from the ground. So we have a bunch of tires. So I stack them on top of each other and I just bury it in snow. at the time before they get there, so then we have a bunch of sleds that they can go on. So they're always excited because then Mr. Evan built a hill, so then they can go twice as high.
Dude, do you think people who don't live in the like colder regions, do you think they know what King of the Hill is?
I think they know what it is, but I think they have a very different version of it.
I remember playing that on the playground all the time.
Well, it's crazy because apparently in the South it's very King of the Mountain, which I was like, that's.
Ah.
But we had true snow hills and we don't have mountains, so.
Well, I just remember like the school would plow all their stuff into
Yes.
one area, and that
Yes.
would create a hill for everyone.
Yes, typical Southern arrogance. Thank you, Ash, on that one where they call it King of the Mountain instead of King of the Hill. But yeah, I remember the days that they finally allowed us to go on the snow hill because I remember there were so many days at good old Merrill Elementary and middle school where they're like, you can't go on the snow hill, and we're like, why not?
Yeah, I do remember getting yelled at quite a bit for playing that.
Oh yeah, King of the Hill was always the number one. What was hilarious is for 2 years straight, my grade got football banned. So the next option was when snow came. Let's just go play King of the Hill, or let's just go play on the snow hill. And then some of us were smart and would occasionally push each other because then you could get away with that. But you couldn't just scream King of the Hill. That was your dead giveaway that you were doing something you weren't supposed to be doing. And I was one of the smart ones that I would be like, guys, just don't scream it and play around and build a little bit. And then when you see an opening, just fucking shove a motherfucker. But just, don't do it all the time.
Great game.
Oh, it's fun as hell. And it sucks because now as a childcare provider, when my kids are tackling each other in the snow, I have to tell them, stop doing that, get off each other, because I have to think of it from the other side. But the part... No, I know, because I'm also the one that lets them get away with the most likely. And I'm always like, just let them go. Who cares? They're rubber. They're 6 or 7 years old. Their body's still rubber. Who cares?
Kids get injured. Who cares?
It's fine. Some kids dislocate their knee and don't properly rehab it, so it hurts them for the rest of their life, right?
Yeah. I live.
You speaking through personal experience there?
I don't remember ever getting injured at school.
No.
I don't think.
No, you never got injured at school. You got injured outside of school. And I just never got injured unless it was a knee to the head on a soccer game. So
yeah.
We both have long-term ramifications from our sports careers.
Mm-hmm.
Fun times here. Yeah, I really want to sum up. The art direction of this is phenomenal. Also the music by James Horner. Again,
Great score.
Great score and another... Because we talked about James Horner did Casper, right?
I think so.
Yeah, so that's two really high-quality children's productions
Mm-hmm.
that get a world-class composer to come do their work. That's wild. But he does such a phenomenal job with it. Also, a great way to use Where Are You Christmas throughout and put it in different formats where we can do the sorrowful one and we can do the little bit more whimsy, hopeful one.
That's what I want to return to. People don't do it enough anymore.
Well, people don't use... The saddest part is, I think another really... I've been thinking about this a lot because of our AI builder. Because all I've heard for the last 2 weeks since doing it in my head, editing shows and editing videos, is the X-Men 97 theme song. And sadly, those are the projects, legacy projects, are the only ones that seemingly get these big musical productions anymore. Even if they're television products. They're the ones that get the big orchestra stuff. Or I loved the music in Ahsoka. I thought Ahsoka did a great job on Disney Plus with the music. And legacy projects, sadly, are the ones that get it now, or these big franchises. We don't get these smaller films. We don't get these unique films doing that anymore. And it's terrible and tough to see because you want to see those things on screen. You want to hear those things on screen.
Yeah, I completely agree.
It's just tough because you want
The
you want you want to see what those guys do.
who's your MVP of the movie?
I mean, you can't go anyone else besides Jim Carrey. You can't.
I was gonna say in terms of production,
Okay.
I think Rick Baker, who's the makeup artist,
Yep.
legendary
Yes.
makeup artist. I think he's the MVP. Like, it, it's kind of crazy that this works in
Yep.
a way because, like, it definitely falls into the uncanny valley a lot, but it
Oh
still
yeah.
works.
Well, they did a great job of also. I don't. I don't know how much you noticed here, but they hit it very well. But the characters that they need to be more human, because you can't do it with the Grinch. Like you can't make him more human.
No.
But the characters that help to be seen as more human, they don't get as dramatic of the makeup. Like Christine Przansky as Martha May does
Yeah.
not get a lot of the Who stuff. Obviously, Cindy Lou has almost none of it.
Yep.
Even Lou doesn't get a lot of it. Like those human characters that you really need there. But Molly Shannon does have a little bit more of
Yeah.
that Who kind of snout look. And I think that's a really smart intentional choice because those characters that are going to bring you those warm heartbeats of that film and make you care don't fall into the uncanny valley.
Mm.
They don't fall into these bigger things. But then there's stuff like, you know, the mayor who has more of the pronounced stuff, or some of the teens have a lot of the pronounced stuff and all those things. And I think that's a very wise choice to avoid some of those potential problems of the uncanny valley.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, I just think MVP, obviously performance wise, it has to be Jim Carrey. I think Rick Baker does a phenomenal job there. The entire art team does so well here. I don't think this is a stretch to say my obvious favorite Ron Howard film is this one.
This or Apollo 13 is great as well, but
Yeah, but that's what I got here for the Grinch, with a 2000s 25th anniversary
yeah.
big box office film, and I totally forgot about it. So, did we already pick a rando from Rocky, and I'm just
Uh,
forgetting?
we did hit it, but it was for Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
Oh yeah, so we're doing that in January.
Yeah. So should I do the next one,
Um,
or should we do it on the Harry Potter
we'll do it on the Harry Potter one because we
Sounds
also,
good.
this is not a promise. We might try to cover Avatar still before the end of the year, just because Fire and Ash is coming out, and we might as well try to be topical with some of these movies.
And there's like three more still coming.
Maybe not. Apparently,
I'll I'll believe it.
I have the same thing, but when James Cameron himself is saying, I don't know if it's going to get made, and changes his tune after 10 years of, we're going to do this, it's going to happen, to now, I don't know if it's going to happen. I'm like, hey,
When the studio makes another $2 billion,
but they're not making $2 billion anymore on these films.
they're still making well over $1 billion.
That's also true. But it's Disney, and Disney's fucked, so who cares? But we're going to talk about a little news item quick here. But let's finish the notes. Was this worth the box office?
Yeah.
1,000%. 1,000%. And is this worth the rewatch?
Yes, I would say I actually really enjoyed rewatching it.
I did too. I forgot how much I loved this movie. I really
Mhm.
did. It was such an enjoyable, fun experience. Now, I want to touch on one thing because I want to get your take on it, and then we'll call it on this episode. We'll move into our next one for our streaming audience, and our audio listeners will get it the week later. But have you seen what Fox is doing now with this Bible project they're trying? I know none of that sounds appealing to you because it doesn't sound appealing to me, but I just learned about this. Because audiobooks are now becoming such a thing, Fox is producing this like Jesus Christ based audio production with this huge cast of actors. And people are shocked at some of the actors in this project because it's like Kristen Bell and a couple other really famous actors that everyone's like, whoa, Fox and a Christian production? That's a choice. Immediately it puts them into this kind of Christian right phase. Yeah. The insane part, the vast majority of the actual actors that people would know recorded this for a different project 15 years ago.
That never came to light?
And it never came to light. It was made for another production company, and it sat on the shelf, and it's then been purchased by Fox. And then they are just saying, look, we have Kristen Bell, and we have this guy, and we have that guy.
That's definitely the newer trend in audiobooks, is full cast editions.
Yeah, but it's pretty fucking horseshit, especially when you're... Here's my thing. I understand Fox has no fucking character whatsoever. I don't want to come out and be like, no, they have character. It's fucking Fox News. They've been sellouts since the first fucking time they've produced a show. And yes, they absolutely suck. And if you're a Fox viewer, figure out your life. Because say what you will about modern news, all of them are flawed in some way, shape, or form. But Fox is just so openly propaganda that you're legitimately foolish for watching it. You're just poisoning yourself for doing it. But the fact that they have such little respect to read the fucking room and just go, maybe we should give them the option.
But you just said it. They don't care.
I know. It's just fucking ridiculous. Like, are you kidding me that someone... Because Kristen Bell, I think, recorded her stuff in like 2007 or like 2009 for this project before she hit that Disney Elsa money, and that Good Place money.
So this is the Bible full cast edition?
I think so, yes.
I mean, technically speaking, I understand the project. Like, I do think that sounds interesting. Am I going to listen to it? No.
No, absolutely not.
But, like, just thinking of, like, the amount of cast you need for that.
Yes, it's insane.
Insane.
But to the fact that this is someone else's production that you've just purchased, and it's 15 years past, and the world has completely changed, that's fucked. That's just another... And people's reputations are going to go down because of it, and they truly didn't have a choice. It'd be different when someone signs up to do a Fox project now. Like when I see Kevin Costner's America on Fox Nation streaming service or whatever... Because naturally I get those commercials during football games. When I see it, I'm like, you know what? I disagree with this choice, but they're actively choosing to work with this production company. Fine. That's your choice. And okay, so, whatever.
Yeah, I'm just reading a little bit of it right now.
I mean, so, it's a fucked idea.
Yeah, she recorded her stuff, Kristen Bell, in 2010. And this is apparently going to be a 52 episode series of a podcast.
Fuck that.
And it's hosted by some dude from Fox and Friends who I've never heard of because
what's the name?
I'm not insane. Ainsley Earhart.
So that's one of their female anchors.
And then it says the other people who are attached to it right now are Brian Cox, Sean Astin, Neil McDonough, Malcolm McDowell, John Rhys-Davies, Julia Ormond. So those are big names.
Yeah, those are real big names at times.
Yeah, and then a rep for John Rhys-Davies confirms to Rolling Stone that the actor only learned of the repurposed project earlier this week.
Yep.
I mean, technically speaking, they're not doing anything wrong because they bought a property.
Yes.
And are just now releasing it. It's just a shitty thing to do. Yeah.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. It's a completely shitty thing to do. We also have more news that we'll talk about in the next show that I wanted to get your opinion on, but that's a different story.
I'm just against most media outlets at this point, so.
I mean, that's the worst part. You just kind of pick and choose what you can.
The only one I like is BBC. because the BBC is like about as straight as you can get in terms of mostly not uh with agenda.
Yeah. I like how you had to dance with the mostly not,
They
as if
do
it was the Princess
waver a
Bride,
bit.
mostly dead. Not all dead,
Yeah.
mostly dead. But that's totally fucked. My God. All right, but that is going to do it for this episode of the show. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful holiday season so far. If you are listening on stream, we're about to do our game show, so you guys can look forward to a movie tiers, not a movie tiers. I'm sorry, a complete the movie grid episode for our audio listeners coming out right before Christmas. Is a nice little Christmas gift to y'all, or it'll be a fun New Year's gift. It depends on how the schedule falls and what else we can give you in between. Because Dylan and I actually have quite a busy December of recording sessions and other stuff. But stay tuned with some more game show stuff if you're on the stream. If not, have some fun listening to this or watching this on YouTube wherever you are. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching wherever you are. We appreciate it. Go treat yourself to a great movie and love yourself. Peace, love, and hugs to you all. Goodbye!